Welcome to episode 140 of Explode Your Expert Biz show, brought to you by gtex.org.uk. I'm your host, Simone Vincenzi, the Expert Strategist, and this is the podcast for experts who want to become the ultimate authority in their niche while making an impact in the world. And today I have the pleasure to interview my good friend, Kavit Haria. The title of the show is Don't Sleep on It. Turn your passion and expertise into a profitable online business. Now, my friend Cavett is in the UK and used to be a musician. I love his story because it started with him not knowing how to get gigs to perform, so he had to learn marketing. He ended up getting fully booked all the time, performing with various famous artists, and fellow musicians started asking him how he did it. So he started running and creating online courses, and he branched out teaching other types of entrepreneurs about marketing as well after his huge success selling courses for musicians. But the fact is that the teaching doesn't always equal implementation, as you well know. And that was really bothering him. That's why he decided to include not only teaching but also guide people step by step with implementation throughout his program. In fact, with the help of his team, they do everything with their entrepreneurs from scratch during the course of a year. So then the client has a fully functional business up and running. And they have tons of success stories. And what I love best about it is that they help design their client's business. So then each client is able to hit $100,000 in revenue by the end of the first year in business. Is the author of Don't Sleep on It, Turn Your Passion and Expertise into a Profitable Business, which is launching on June 26, which is tomorrow if you're listening to this episode on the release date. In this episode, we talk about his upcoming book, Don't Sleep on It. We're gonna give a bit of behind the scene of what you can expect inside, and you're going to learn how to get clarity on your entire business plan and business model, how to develop a scalable business, and what to do to get started in the right way as an expert. You can find all the transcript and the bonus resources on our website at gtex.org.uk/140. That's the number 140. And also there is the link below where you can get the book and pre-order your book as well. If you want to make six-figure presentation, this is before we start. Remember, I got a few things. If you want to make six-figure presentation and become awesome at selling from the stage without compromising your integrity, I have created the Ultimate Selling from the Stage checklist, which is the most comprehensive checklist to create a pitch that sells without selling like a sleazy, manipulative. And you can get the link in the show notes. And also, you can receive daily support in your expert business. Join our private Facebook group where I record exclusive training. Actually, an upcoming training, which is going to be for the group members only, is going to be how I managed to get on Forbes, Entrepreneur Magazine, and other major publication. So I'm going to reveal the behind the scene very soon. So join the group so you can catch that training as well. And also, if you haven't subscribed, make sure that you subscribe right now. Now, there is something that I do every now and then, which is to share with you the tool of the day. And the tool of the day is something that has been released recently. And I've been playing around, still very early days. This app is less than a week. Probably you've heard about it. It's Instagram TV, IGTV. And the main difference is that in Instagram, you can only upload 1-minute videos or 15-second stories. And I'm using Instagram a lot. However, I got very annoyed because I have a lot of videos, like full-length video that I cannot upload there, or I need to cut into shorter stories. Instead, with Instagram TV, you can upload full-length videos. Now, there is a caveat, which they need to be portrait, so they can't be landscape. Or if you upload the landscape video, it will just select a portrait version of it. And it's apparently they want to take on YouTube and launch TV shows mobile only, where you can just watch them on portrait mode. Let's see how that's gonna go. Of course, everything is a test, but it's part of being everywhere testing new platforms, being where other people don't dare to go. So you'll find me uploading daily video on Instagram TV. So you can follow me at GTechsUK. That's our Instagram account. Now it's time to get started with the interview. Let's hear it from Kavit Haria. Don't sleep on it. Turn your passion and expertise into a profitable online business. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Explode Your Expert Business Show. I'm here with the one and only Cavit Haria. Now, Cavett has been a guest before on our podcast, and definitely is someone that doesn't sleep on things. He doesn't sleep on it, it takes action. And that's why we wanted him back on our show. Cavett, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. It's so great to talk to you.
So now you have a new book coming out. Don't sleep on it, and we are going to talk about the book. We are going to talk about what the content of the book is going to be about. In particular, this interview, you will love it, guys, if you are interested in building digital products. And if you are not interested in building digital products, it will make you want to build digital products and digital assets in your business. But Cavett, can you just give a brief background of your journey for 2 to 3 minutes for people that don't know you and are not aware of who you are?
I always find it very difficult to talk about my journey in 2 to 3 minutes, but let's try.
Let's condense it.
Yeah, let's condense it. In short, I'm a musician. I play an instrument called the tabla, and I've always wanted to play that professionally with Western music. My influences growing up have been pop, jazz, R&B, hip-hop, reggae, etc. And I wanted to play that together. So after some initial struggle, I started to do pretty well. I started to tour quite regularly. I played at big venues with interesting artists, and I had some success in that process. And I decided to start sharing that because people were asking. So I taught to musicians through word of mouth and through face-to-face teaching how to get more gigs, how to sell more music, how to grow their career. And what I realized was that every musician wants to quit their day job and play music. Like, that's the ultimate dream. How do I quit my day job? How do I play music? And the recipe for you to quit your day job as a musician is to get more gigs, to sell more music, and to promote that music that you do. And if you could have a really good system that allowed you to do that, then you would, quit your day job and be financially independent as a musician. So from 2005, I started to build an online business, and I fell into it. I started to teach face-to-face, and I realized that face-to-face isn't going to work, and I've got to reach
2005,
more people.
so like literally early days.
I started just watching other people, and they were writing ebooks. And so I thought, okay, I could put all my ideas into an ebook. And so I started to create ebooks, and then there were CDs, and there were DVD programs, and there were coaching programs, membership sites, workshops, meetups around the world. 2005 to 2010, insidermusicbusiness.com became my thing that I was working on. And I started to build this when I was finishing university, where I had a degree in genetics. And I realized that I didn't want to work in science, and I wanted to do this. This was more energizing. It was more passionate. I had more energy. I was creating more work. It was great. And so what I did was create lots and lots of content with blogging, with podcasting, with audio bites. Basically, at that time, it wasn't called podcasting, but it was audio bites that you could put on MySpace, and grew that really well. So I had 120,000 musicians on my database selling 35 different products and doing quite well. And I realized that, and there was one point in my journey, which is really important to share, which is that I realized I didn't have any more to share. Like, I got to the point where everything I knew about promoting music, everything I knew about getting more gigs, everything I knew about selling CDs, I had created and written in instruction, in books, in CDs, in DVD programs, in coaching programs. So I realized that I've got to take a break. I've got to find another way of doing this. I've got to put stuff in place so I'm not working 16-hour days, and I can actually travel and do the things that I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And what started off really exciting and fun became really hard work, because I was working 16 hours a day, dealing with emails and shipment and fulfillment and all kinds of things. And I learned that I had to let go in order to allow myself to have some freedom in the work. So I went traveling. I came back. I ran workshops for business owners because I fell into that. And everything I feel has just been like one thing that's snowballing into something else. So when I came back from my travels, what I found was I was invited to speak at multiple conferences, marketing conferences. This is 2010, 2011, talking about how to take an idea in a niche market and build a business online. And what I really became very good at in the business was how to create marketing pathways specific to the user. So if I have 120,000 people, how do I have 120,000 individual conversations at scale? Which means you've got to know what they're interested in. You've got to know what kind of music they play. You've got to know what level they're at, and then feed them information based on that. And so I started to teach a lot of that in workshops. I ran 2-day events in New York, in London, and Sydney. People came, they learned how to build their business. And it was fun, but it wasn't fulfilling. And what I mean by that is that, and you know this, like if you are listening and you go to events, right, and you go to workshops and you've taken so many notes and you try so many different things, a week later, you've forgotten 50% of it. 2 weeks later, you've forgotten 75% of it. 3 weeks later, like you don't even remember some of the things that are there, or you don't have the time to put it into practice. And so I had made a good amount of money from my music business, that this wasn't fulfilling enough for me to just run it because of people paying me money. So I decided to try something different. And I was fortunate and comfortable at the time where I said, well, what if I hire a group of people that I know are very good, people that have worked with me in my music company, people that have been really good at writing copy, writing design, putting together videos, putting together formatting material that we could launch a business online for somebody. And what if we work with somebody and hold their hand for an entire 12 months? So we launched in 2013 Automated Business System, which is a 12-month business development program. Essentially, what happens is somebody comes to us, they work on their strategy of their business, who they're serving, how they're serving them, what their sales funnel looks like, the entire process. We then implement every single thing for them. So we do the design, we do the copywriting, we do the filming, we do the production of the course, we put it online, it's ready to buy, and then we coach them on marketing it. So we're giving them Facebook advertising coaching sessions every week. We're giving them social media and content coaching sessions every fortnight, all the way in the very first year until we know that they're comfortable to grow on their own. And it's been so fulfilling to make friendships and build a team and grow 120, 130 different clients over the last 3-4 years who are basically building their business in this way. And so the book, which is what now we're on about here, is where I'm at today, is I've put all the ideas of this 12-month process that I've had 4.5 years of experience into the book in a very systematic process so anyone can read and follow it. And I wanted to call it Don't Sleep on It because I feel like it really is time for people to stop sitting on the sidelines. It really is time for people to acknowledge that they have some skills, they have some talent, they have some experience, they have some expertise that they can share with the world. And so the book is really a case of find out what that is, tap into it, and let me show you and walk you through exactly how to launch it online.
That's really exciting, man. I've seen all the work that you're doing. I've seen you on stage. We spoke a few events together, and that's why I'm a big advocate about the work that you're doing with your company. And I can hear when people were saying you were talking about the things that you were doing for your clients. I could hear like. From the listeners, like, really, do you do all of that? You take all that pressure away. Yes, he does. So make sure that also you get in touch with him if you want your entire online course built. But getting back to in your book, you talk about don't sleep on it. What I want to know, for people that don't have already don't have yet an online course, what do you think is stopping them? Like, it's crazy right now not having an online course. So what do you think is stopping them?
And I don't think it has to be only just online course. Like you could think of it as an online product without being an educational course. Or you could, some people have services. Like we have clients that are plumbers, that are electricians, that are speakers, that are writers, etc. They offer a service without it being a course. Now, I don't really care what it is that anybody sells. I just want them to realize that what they know is what someone else needs. And sitting behind and not sharing that is doing a disservice to the world. Like, it really is as blunt and sharp as that. Like, so what stops people, I think, is a sense of, is what I'm doing good enough? And therefore, am I ready enough to share what I know? And because so many people think they aren't in a position where they can share something. They're not ready yet to say and to leap out and say, I want to teach how to trade the stock market, or I want to teach how to look after dogs, or I want to teach how to lose weight. Like, if somebody doesn't feel confident enough, it's usually one of the reasons that stops them. And people might say, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough energy, I don't have enough money, I don't have the right contacts, I don't have the right process. And all of these things are valid to some extent. But the real truth, and just going right to the core of it in the time that we have, is because I don't feel like I'm the right person to share this information. I don't feel like I'm strong enough. And if I think about why that is, just to give you an additional bit there, I think it's because we are not, as humans, taking the time to be as clear as possible, as concise as possible about the things that matter to us. Now, that's really sharp, but here's what it means. It means that I have a process, for example, on how to triple your gigs. Now, if I have not sat down and literally, for me, written down the entire process of what that is, like the 7 steps that are involved in tripling your gigs in the next 30 days, if I don't write step 1, get a map. Step 2, get a marker and create zones or create a grid. Step 3, look at each part. If I don't write down that process, I'm not creating in my mind a sense of clarity about what it is. It's all muddled up.
Yep.
And the truth of the matter is, everyone knows enough to share with other people, because when we're sitting over coffee, when we're going to a restaurant, when we're hanging out with friends over Christmas, we're all willing to give any advice that we can give. So we have the capability to give the advice to our friends and people that are close to us. But in order for us to do it in a very public fashion, we have to have clarity on the steps. And only and here's the magical part, when you have clarity on the steps, you immediately increase the confidence that you have in yourself to share it, because your mind is in a much clearer place. So I think it really does come down to the fear of just not knowing and not feeling that I'm right enough, I'm in the right place, I know enough to share.
You know, I actually, it's really funny because yesterday evening I did a Facebook Live on this topic.
Oh, wow.
Because I was talking about on the fact that what people need in this industry, and I'm sure this is something that you mentioned in your book, is what we call, for example, a signature program. Some people call it a methodology, the step-by-step process, because it's true. I remember when I didn't have it, everything was fuzzy. Everything was all over the place. One day I was doing maybe a speaking engagement, I was talking about one thing. The next day I was doing a webinar talking about a complete different thing. And I felt all over the place, and therefore there was no clarity, there was no focus in my mind, and therefore people were confused. And they were confused, and I was confused, and no one was buying, and I was like, but why?
Yeah. And it's also the reason why most people's marketing is very bad, because it's disorganized. So one of the exercises in the book, and it's probably the most important exercise I recommend anyone do, it's what I call mapping realities. And basically, you need to realize that where your client is right now, let's just call it point A, is the current reality. They're facing certain situations. They're thinking certain things. They're believing certain things. What they think and feel about themselves is very important at this point, because that's where they are. And you cannot try to sell to something that without connecting to where somebody is. Like if you're trying to sell some amazing dream, some far-fetched idea, something that they really want, unless you can show them how it connects to where they are and how they can walk from where they are to that dream, they're not going to be able to do that. If you're in a resort and you go to this amazing 5-star resort, and right at the front of the reception, somebody says, the beach is in that direction, but you could go in all kinds of different paths to get there, they're going to be confused. But if you say, hey, look, walk down this route, take a left, take a right, and you'll be literally on the soft, amazing, beautiful sand, then you feel like you've got a direction. So somebody right now is facing a current reality, a struggle, a pain, a problem, a challenge, which is why they want your help. And then the other side, point B, is the ideal reality. This is what they want to feel. This is what they want to believe. This is what they want to behave like. This is what they think. Now, your job, in order to create this clarity in your mind as the expert, is to write down the steps from the current reality to the ideal reality in as much detail as possible. Like, break it down. Every single step somebody has to take to go from point A to point B, write it down. And then you can chunk up and create modules and milestones and lessons, and all of that is written in the book. But the key is that this clarity allows you to be better on your lives, be better in your marketing, be better in your podcast, be better in the way you're speaking to people on stage. And it really fuels everything that you do.
So now let's talk about someone who is already making some money, but they already have a methodology, and they already have a program, and they're already doing pretty well, or they think they're doing pretty well. And but they feel that they reach a plateau, and now they are not growing as fast as they were growing before. So what are some of the things that maybe you mentioned in your book to help the growth of that business. It can be, taking an example, online program or not an online
Sure.
program, but something that you mentioned to for people that are already getting out there and already making some money, already have their signature program and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's a great question. So somebody, I'll just set the scene. Somebody has created a program. They're selling online. They've sold and they've gone through a period of great growth, and then they've plateaued for whatever reason, and they're looking for the next stage. Now, the very first thing I would do is, has that person created a series of goals and visions of where they want to go? Because most people don't. And therefore, most people feel like the only way to feel success is to constantly grow. But actually, it's probably more easier for a person who's doing a $1 million business to make money and make more profit and have more relaxation and have less pressure than somebody who's doing a $10 million business. So the very first thing is to have very clear ideas and goals of where you want to hit. So if you're doing 100,000 pounds right now, for example, or 50,000 pounds, and you want to go and you want to double that, whatever it is, let's just say you want to double, and that's part of your goal, then okay, great. So here's what I would do. Every online business has 4 stages. The 4 stages are lead generation, lead capture, which is how you bring people into your business as interested parties, lead nurturing, the process of building a relationship with those people, and lead conversion. Now, the first thing people do when they think they want to grow is to go and make new products. I haven't made a new product in 4 years. I haven't released a new system. I haven't released a new service.
Oh my god! You know, I'm laughing because I have this conversation with my clients a lot of the time, because they come and they say, and I found that also I was falling into that trap for a long time, and it is almost like, okay, I need to keep myself busy with something. Let me create something new. Let me create a new product. Let me create a new service, because there is some belief there that the new product, the new service is going to be the breakthrough.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing that we fail to remember is that, one, we don't have enough people to sell to, or two, we're trying to sell that new product to the same group of people that are exposed constantly to our messages. So the first thing to remember is that just because you're not growing as fast as you may want to, doesn't mean you create a new product. Of course, there's times when you will need to create new products, new offerings, new ideas, but this may not be that time. The second thing to remember is that growth is not consistent. Growth is not consistent. What that means is that you might go from March to May in extreme amount of growth, and then you'll want to plateau specifically because you want to improve your operations, you want to improve your marketing, you want to improve your structures, you want to improve your team and your systems. So growth doesn't always need to be consistent. I don't grow consistently in my businesses. I've never done that. I feel like I get tired actually. I need to take a vacation after a period of growth. After working extremely hard for 2 months and pushing the boundary and adding another zero perhaps to our profit or our bottom line, I need to take a break to make sure that everyone in the team is also taking a break and recalibrating before our next growth spurt. So that's the foundational points. Then going back to the 4 stages: lead generation, lead capture, lead nurturing, and lead conversion. Now, every single one of these areas is a cog in your business. So you've got to improve by 10% whether you can get more leads. Are you doing something new? Can you efficiently improve what you're currently doing? Can you better capture people? Can you improve your landing pages? We're getting landing pages that convert at 70% for some of our clients, but that's because we're going back and tweaking them, making subtle changes, making small changes each time, not creating new stuff, improving what we've got. And then the third is lead nurturing. So can you spend a day, a month, improving your lead nurturing? Can you increase your lead nurturing by 10%? Which means getting more people to open more emails, getting more people to watch more videos, getting more people to comment and engage with videos, getting more people to click on the call to action. And finally, lead conversion. Is there a process? Is there a way for you to get more people to buy, 10% more people to buy? Whether you improve your order form, whether you make sure you've got more testimonials from the last period of growth, whether you make sure you're honoring and improving your guarantees. So think about these 4 areas of business, improve them each by 10%, and you're already growing. You're already growing the efficiency. And so don't expect growth to come like magically out of anywhere unless you're going to be featured in big media, big publicity, got independent people with big fan pages to mention you. Like, it's got to be consistent. And if you keep improving, keep tweaking 10% every month, you can see where the results are going.
Absolutely, I think this is gold. This piece of advice is gold. I remember they were, particularly when you talked about the plateau.
Yeah.
It makes sense because yes, you will have a business that will grow, but then if the operation and the foundation is not there, then what's the point? You
Yeah,
just create
exactly.
more work for yourself, or you put more money into a leaky bucket, and then you will lose. So it's looking about those small and small improvements, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
When you were discussing it, that's where we are at with GTEx. So we had a huge period of growth. Now we've been slowing down for a moment to sort out a team and everything because I don't want to work anymore. So I'm working pretty hard. That's
Yeah.
and I love what I do. But at the same time, I know that one day I want to have a family, and I
Yeah.
recently got married. And things
Yeah.
when I have a baby, I want to make sure that the business is there in place to support to still grow, even if I work 2 or 3 hours a day,
Yeah.
or maybe if I
Yeah.
work 10 hours a week, but still grow, or if not grow at the same rate because I'm not pushing and driving, at least keep all our clients happy and keep the profit margins as they are. So I
And
really resonate
I
with
think that
what you're saying right
yeah,
now.
and I think the other thing to remember is that as expert owners, sometimes we don't come from backgrounds of understanding business. And so we need to really realize and very quickly simplify what we're doing, which means realize that in our business, there are only four roles that really need to be looked after. One is the director or the leader. The second is operations. The third is sales. And the fourth is financial. Like if you really think about everything that you need to be doing in your business and optimize each of these four areas, so optimize your own growth, your own development, your own learning by training, by workshops, by podcasts, by reading, and then help the other people who are wearing those hats, if they're not you, or if they are you, to improve their roles, their key ideas. Because otherwise we muddle everything up together. And when we muddle everything up together, we lose track and focus of what we're actually working on, what we're actually improving.
And then it feels that you're working without a name, and
Yeah,
like, what are you
exactly.
doing? I don't know. I just keep going. I just keep
Exactly.
going, and I'm very guilty of
Exactly.
that sometimes. In fact, literally, something simple that changed, and for every listener, something simple that changed my life recently, and I've always and I've heard many times. It's nothing new, but I heard it many times. I've never done it. Is keeping a daily journal.
Yeah.
Literally,
Yeah.
I never. I was like, yeah, daily journal, boring, daily journal. But actually, it stops me. It stops me
Yeah.
to think, and I've been, and my business has been growing. Literally, we made more money last month that we made last year,
Fantastic.
and it was like, okay, I like journaling now. I'm like, and I've been working less as well, and I took a month of vacation, so it was like
Yeah.
awesome.
There's a
So
great book I recommend you check out personally. It's called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. So check it
okay.
out. And in there
I
she
heard
talks
about
about
this before. You're not the first time person who recommends
okay.
me this. So
And she writes about something called morning pages and the whole process of how to write your morning pages in your journal every day. It's a really amazing strategy. Check it out.
and talking about books now is definitely Cavett. People need to buy your book if you're an expert, if you're a speaker, if you're a trainer, if you're running a service-based business. You need to get that book first of all because you know just don't sleep on it. Get the freaking book. But who is that book for? Who is that book for, Cavett?
So there's a lot of people that are still sitting on the sidelines. Like they want to do something and they're not there yet. They want that push because they're missing some level of guidance, some confidence, some clarity. They want that push. So one, it's for them. But two, and so the first half definitely speaks to them. And when they're ready to build their business, it really gets into a lot of depth. And for the second group of people, which is you're starting to put together a course, or you're putting together a course, you're not optimizing it, you don't know if it's selling well, you could do with a lot of improvement in it. This read will really help you, whether you read it or listen to it on an audiobook, is really going to help you outline what you're doing, make sure you're doing it correctly, and then give you some additional hints and ideas on how we really market the courses to sell them.
That's perfect. That's awesome. So the book is called again.
Don't sleep on it. Turn your passion and expertise into a profitable online business.
And ladies and gentlemen, I can vouch and I can guarantee that I haven't yet read the book. I know it's
It's in
coming.
the mail to
And
you.
I
Yeah,
know it's coming.
exactly.
I know it's coming to me. I'm excited to read it. And actually, what I will do when I finish to read, I will also do a Facebook Live, doing a live review of the book, because I know that everything that comes out from Kavit mouth is gold. I've seen him on stage. I've followed his stuff online. I've been following him for quite a long time. We've been good friends. And I can guarantee that every single thing that you will read in that book will make a difference in your business. So I'm assuming that people can get it on Amazon
Yeah,
or
Amazon,
anywhere
Wordery,
else. Any other
Amazon,
link that you want to
Audible.
share?
So they can get it anywhere, Amazon UK, US, India, wherever you are. Audible will sell the audiobook in a couple of weeks. Wordery.com is brilliant for buying books in the UK as well. So go anywhere you want, search it. But if you want to go to our book website, don't sleep on it, book.com, and you can read about buying it in bulk and getting additional bonuses and support and anything like that.
Fantastic. So, guys, make sure that you go right now, check the link, scroll down below. There are going to be all these links in the show notes. Get the book, and remember, don't sleep on it. Okay? If you sleep on it, nothing is going to change in your life and in your business. So, get the book right now. Cavett, thank you very much for this interview. It's been a pleasure to catch up, and I'm looking forward playing table tennis together in the next few
Yes,
weeks.
yes. So right here, basically in the office, we have a table tennis. You're most welcome. Oh, here's the book too. And so you're most welcome to come. Let's do it.
Okay, we'll arrange a time and let's see who's gonna win. I'm
Okay.
very competitive, as you know, so I like a bit of competition there. Guys, thank you very much for listening. So make sure you get the book. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, subscribe right now. And please, please, please leave us a 5-star review. It means a lot. If you like the content of this show, is a big push that you can give us by leaving us a 5-star review and letting us know what did you enjoy the most from this interview. Kavit, once again, have a fantastic day. Speak soon.
Thank you. Bye.